Okay, so this is Cinebench. Cinebench R23. 26905. One more time. Cured? How about cured? You mean you're finally asymptomatic? Cured? No one gets cured. $26,866. All right. Can I be bothered with? Oh, I can't think I can be bothered with. Can I be bothered with that? Cinebench R15. Doesn't take very long. Right, 4150. Cinebench R15. Again. Four, 1, 2, 1. Okay. Right, now let's run a quick Fortnite bench. We can close this now. There's that. Minimize that. Right, so let's bench Fortnite replay, and then we'll do the upgrade. So that you guys can see my BIOS as I'm doing this, I've unplugged my DisplayPort at the back of my GPU. So I've only got an HDMI output. So by having only one output through HDMI, I can stream it and see it at the same time. But it does affect the results, monkeying around with having DisplayPort versus HDMI versus two outputs from the GPU. So. At least it means you can see my BIOS. Right, so I put in a bench in here. I'm going to have to run this through twice because there's no shader cache for this. I just grabbed this from the environment. So 2 for time, put in 10 minutes. Oopa. That'll do. 3 minutes of that will do. 20 marks, get set, go.
Capture started.
So we're at 3 minutes, then we're rerunning it back again, and the second time will be the one we keep. We won't need to rerun the shader cache after we do the BIOS twice because it'll already be on the system. It's real. There must be a way of reapplying file settings automatically without having to manually do them every time. It's really annoying. Unfortunately, you can't save BIOS overclock profiles that's specific to the BIOS version. No, I think again that's. I don't really want to play with that. I mean, most of the settings are easy to apply. It's the memory re-overclocking. That's the main one. There was somebody hiding in there, was there?
Capture finished.
Go back to the beginning. That's the shader cache filled in. Now we should be able to just go ready to the go.
Capture started. Capture finished.
Good okay. So, give that. Just check that this is okay. So this is 0129. Make sure it looks alright. Yep. Okay, no massive spikes, so there was no issues during that replay. So we've got a baseline now for this one. That was the shader cache creation. This is the one we're going to be comparing it to. Okay, that looks fine. So let's start updating the BIOS. So we need to go and get it first of all. MSI Z790 ACE. My one. So this is the new one, and this is the one we currently have. We're going to be going to the D instead of the C. Looks like there is a new firmware I'm going to have to apply as well. All right, so you just download that, extract it, and running executable normally, and it will show you the previous one and the new one. We go next. That'll update the ME firmware on the CPU, onto the CPU. So that'll apply to every single operating system you've got running on the same system. I don't need to do this on every Windows install I have. It goes straight onto the CPU. Okay, restart later. Next thing to download is, you don't need that, that's just the information thing. Download the actual BIOS, extract all. Alright, so that's the file I need. I'm going to put it on my USB. Get there. So 1D0, the one we're going to be after. 1D0, so it's in the root of my memory stick, which is plugged into the BIOS update port on the back of my PC. Okay, right, so we've got it. Let's go. Let's go into the BIOS. Yeah, 1 billion channel points, so that, right? All right, ready? And flash. So we've done a backup, even though, oh, you know what we should do? Because we're going to be wiping this anyway. So let's save the actual backup to the drive, the external drive. Yeah. Okay, select current folder. What are we going to call it? We're going to call it 1C 1C0 7466. Call it that. All right, so that's backed up. So we should have a backup of this BIOS, and then we've got a backup of the everything, all the settings, onto a separate memory stick. So if we want to go back at the end, we just basically reload both of those, and we don't have to manually add anything. Right, mflash time. The tuning pack saved your life. Yeah. Takes a while to get into mflash. Just sits there. I'll do a hydrate as a bliss, a hydrate from yesterday anyway. Did you see what the other Dylan's going to change his name to? Bless. Because we were joking the other day about how he's always dilly-dallying, looting and stuff. So he's gonna kind of morph Dylan into dilly-dallying. Dilly-dally. Dylan. He's found a way of doing it. Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah, it might be exactly that. Really good. Wow, this is taking its time, isn't it? Come on. Let's say it is slow, this. You change your Fortnite name to the same as your Valorant name. Well, I won 400 quid. Is that your Valorant name? I just won 400 quid. Aqua. There we go. Entering flash mode. Jakey Fortnite. What an excellent name. Right. Right. So we've got. Here we go. So we want the SanDisk, and we want the new one. So the D one, isn't it? This one. Are we sure with this one? Yes. Yes, I am. BIOS is updating. So we're going from down, I can't point that point. Down there it says going from C0 to D0. V1 C0 to V1 D0. Fast USB stick. I don't know, might be. The BIOS takes like 5 minutes. Oh, wow. This is the scary thing. This is the scary part when I'm remotely helping somebody do this. Because if this goes wrong, then I can't do much remotely. And I can't even see this. The only way I can typically see this is if I log in remotely to their streaming PC and then they use the capture card as their primary screen. And then we both just kind of control it from the streaming PC. Yeah, it's a pain this, doing it remotely, BIOS things. Especially scary bits like updating your BIOS. Remember everyone, if you ever update your BIOS, always make sure that encryption is turned off before you do it. Otherwise, you're going to be bricking your computer. You'll have to wipe your whole hard drive and reinstall it. Fresh operating system, fresh everything. Always turn off BitLocker before you update your BIOS. I found that out the hard way. All right, so BIOS is updated. Is it worth? No, actually, no. I'm actually going to turn this off. I don't want it booting up with a default BIOS because Windows thinks it's only got doesn't have the hyperthreading cores and only has half the E cores. And if you start changing the number of cores around, it bumps the monitoring core 0, core 7 to core 16 or whatever. It moves them all around and your counters get messed up. And I've just missed it again. Do you have FPS? Have you not watched any of my streams? They're like 360 fixed. I might go down to 357 sometimes, very rarely. No, I don't have problems with FPS drops in Fortnite. I've done it again. I've really got to not talk to chat while I'm remembering to press a delete key. Right, I'm going to press and hold it now. Keep distracting me. Right, press and hold delete. Don't bother tapping it. Pressing and holding delete. Yeah, well, I mean, Fortnitemares, God, I mean that could be horrific. But I didn't think there was an update for Fortnitemares yet. I thought that they've delayed it. Right, so that looks completely different, doesn't it? But that looks pretty much completely different because I don't remember these before. Easy LED control. What is that? Don't even know what that is. That looks like a security. Yeah, I probably should leave that for Windows 11. Oh, no, does that just turn off those lights? Oh, I've never messed around in this version. Normally I go straight into advanced. Right, I'm going to hide me so you can see the top left corner. Okay. There we go. You can see the top left corner. All right, so... All right, no distracting me while I'm doing this, please. I need to watch the video back now of all the settings. Make sure I don't forget anything. Video, so I'm going to stop reading chat for a little bit. MP4. I'm going to watch my own video back. I made it a minute ago. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. 4-minute video. Right, I can do some of these off by heart. Oh, no, not that one. Right, okay, pause. Went too fast. Anything else in there I need to change? I don't think so. That's all default. Integrated peripherals, we're going to turn all these off because I've got my own separate network card, so I don't need any of the network stuff built into the motherboard. I can turn off all the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth because I don't use any Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on this. Yeah, all of that can go. Disable audio controller and anything else. External SATA controller, I don't need that either. But that's pretty much all disabled. For me, I don't need any of that. Next. Turn off integrated graphics, don't need that. Thunderbolt, don't need that. USB configuration, I don't touch that. Disable that. Driver installer. That's it for that lot. Boot. Yeah, we need to change some of these, I think. Skipping my video where I get to boot. Okay, so fast boots and I'm going to take off fast boot. I'm going to have it on how I had it before. Right, we can disable all these. Yeah, boot manager. Is that what I had before? Yeah, that's what I had before. That's boot. That's my security. Secure boot, disable that. Technically, I don't need to disable that at the moment, but I'm going to disable it anyway. Right, I think that's everything there. Right, OC time. Click forward in my video to get to this. Right, so it's defaulting to Intel defaults there, but we want to go unlimited. Yes. Then we want to set per P core ratio limit. No, wait. Per P, this one, manual. And instead of those 62s, we want 59s. 5.9 gigahertz. Oh, sorry. There we go. We want the ring ratio set to 49. 50 is a little unstable. I might be able to try it at some point, but 49 was fine on my benchmarks. I might try overclocking the E-cores at some point as well. What else do you want to set here? Yeah, we need to set the memory frequency to 7466. That one, the gear 2. I think we want to do the other bits first as well. Let's do the drone voltage. Set that to 1.4. Oh, what did I just do? Wait, no, what did I just do? That automatically sets that to the same. Okay. Then we want right down the bottom, and I'm jumping around a little bit here. Disable virtualization. Everything else in there should be fine. Yep. So let's do the CPU advanced things and then we'll do the memory timings. All right, hyperthreading off as per the new CPUs that are coming out soon. Active V cores, only want 8 of those, don't need more than 8 while you're gaming. C states off. EIST, which one did I turn off? I think I turned off EIST, didn't I? Yeah, EIST off. Because you run SST, not EIST. Then we need to set some power limits. 320 for the extreme profile, 400. Wait, why is that not working? No. What are you doing? Okay, 400. Same for that one. We're going to go advanced. We could just leave it in normal, but I'm going to go advanced. This is not too far off from normal. 57 and 100. So normal is 60 and 100. So we've only got down a little bit. And then we're going to turn off the IA CEP. Yep. Anything else? Just want to compare like for like at the moment. We can then do a little bit of tuning at the end. That's great. But I want to know like for like, same settings, is the 12B better or worse than the 129 microcode? So I need to align everything that I had before. Yeah, I think that's it. Right, let's do memory. Let's do memory. Is there anything else in here? Disabled, auto disabled. No, that's the same. All right, let's go and set these. Come on. So disabled, auto disabled, disabled, false. 2N. We can start filling these in. 34, 45, 45, 45, 56, 481. TRFI 65,535. RRD was 8, 10, 12. So 2, 4. 3 autos. 14. 8. Auto, 12, 8, auto. See, this is the pain in the ass bit. Auto, 62. We are on the right ones, right? SG 62. Oh. Auto. There we go. These. That's 48 for pre. Den is 2, 42, 90, 15. Memory overclocking is such a pain in the backside. Yep, auto. Everything else is auto after that, I think, other than right down the very bottom. We need to turn off. Well, I'm right at the bottom. Power down mode. They work. And that should be everything. Right, so the last thing I need to do is all full speed. And that should do that. Pretty sure it does it for all of these. Oh, that should be okay. Close that off. Right, I'm going to save this just in case it goes weird, and then I can tweak it a little bit. OC profile, see, it's brand new now. Set name. 7/466. Or wait. RX12B 7/466. Yeah. Save it. Alright, so that's saved. I think I've got everything. I'll just do another quick scan. If I've forgotten anything. Need to make sure the settings are exactly the same as they were before for a like-for-like test. Don't care about any suggestions anyone has right now. It needs to be exactly the same settings as it was before for it to be a valid re-benchmark test. I think that's right. All right, press F10. There we go. There are all the changes we've just made. All right, that's all the changes we just made. Should be where we were a minute ago, but now on a different updated BIOS. Right, okay, I can look at chat again now, sorry. What did I do? Right, it's power cycling at the moment. Probably validating all the memory timings. Okay, I can put me back as well. Hello, me. Bazinga. Yeah, I need a load of plastic balls all around me. Come on, computer. Warm up. Wake up. Here we go. Right. Test. If it gets stuck again, I'm going to press the Windows key, if you're right. Ready? Right, I'm going to press the Windows key because it's stuck again. No, it didn't work, Les. You lied to me. I got rid of this issue ages ago just by reinstalling Windows. Yeah, doesn't it? Doesn't work on Windows 11 or my PC. I think it's related. It must be related to me pulling out monitors cables, the DisplayPort. It must be related to it because I haven't had this issue at all, and I didn't really change anything up until when I just pulled out that DisplayPort cable. No, it's stuck. Everything's stuck. And if I start clicking around, it completely freezes. I just have to wait for it. Typically takes a minute and a half, and then it's back to normal. Yeah, completely normal, completely responsive. It took a minute. It took a whole minute there for it to kick in. So, wait for 2 minutes before we start benchmarking again. Yeah, we'll get to about just after 2 minutes and we'll start running some benchmarks. So this is what we had before. And this is a B. Okay. All right, that's about 2 minutes. So should we start running some tests? So it's still potentially still doing things in the background. Might be. I'll have a look at the Hubble 64 at the end of it as well, see what kind of voltages we're getting now. But it's the performance I care about. I don't give a crap about the voltages. I only care about the performance. My computer, if my CPU dies, I'll RMA it. To do benchmate. Right, start right crunch out. Please don't be worse. Please don't be worse. Please don't be worse. It's gonna be worse. Oh, it's better. 20.1. No way. 20.1 what? 9.5. No way. And again. It's not worse. That's the good news. Yet. $20.227. So they are lower than those two, so that's better. Quicker. Oh, that's better. Next, my prime. $7.351. About the same. All right, again. Yeah, well, no one can beat your record on PY Prime. I think you probably did it in space to get the coldest possible temperatures. 7.355. Right, so that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better as well. Ooh, promising. Right, R23. Somehow we've managed to go below 273, minus 273. Interesting. Skill issue, clearly. Better gaming chair. 26,981. It's about the same as it was. 26,981. And we were 26,900 before. So it's gone up a little bit again. I am pleasantly surprised thus far. I was expecting it to be worse. I honestly was expecting it to be worse. I was expecting Intel to have basically put on the handbrake even more. Maybe they've loosened it up a bit. $26,963. Nice. No, I do actually get better scores on my main gaming environments because this is kind of a testing dump load. It's running full that's running full drivers that aren't stripped down. It's just basically here this environment for comparing like for like. You change one single thing, and you see whether it's better or worse. So I don't really care what the kind of numbers are. I care whether they're better or worse. $41.46. That's better. No, it's not. It was $41.50 before. So I'd say that's about the same though. It's within margin of error that. $41.52. That's better though. Right, so they are on the whole at least the same, if not better. Let's compare Fortnite now. This. I'll run the same replay as we did before. Because you never know. I mean, you get better synthetic benchmarks, and then you get into game and it gets big latency spikes every so often, and it's kind of unstable. So synthetic benchmarks are good for kind of tuning and seeing going in the right direction, but they're not always a true representation of your game. Wait, so this is the ultimate test, really. Be interesting to see what that CPU does, whether it goes down to 5,800. It's 5,900 right now. I'm going to be, because it was teetering on that. Any kind of load, it was immediately going down to 5,800 here. So if that's fixed, I'll be incredibly happy. T for time, 600 seconds, 10 minutes. No, it just went down to 5.8. You see that? Up to 5.9 there though. Ready, steady, go.
Capture started.
Hey, great. Well, your PY prime is about latency, memory latency. So it's not about FPS. It will translate into end-to-end better end-to-end latency. So that's very memory latency sensitive PY prime. But from the synthetic test, the new BIOS, the 012B, is slightly better performance so far than the old 129 one. So far. The game's very loud. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can turn it down for you, but I can't really turn it down for me. Yeah, I turned it down 5 decibels on my streaming PC. Chill now. Can't tell you how much worse this looks on HDMI compared to this the DisplayPort. I'm not even sure what. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm running 240 hertz on HDMI, to be honest. It looks awful. Need my DisplayPort back in again, but then you guys can't see my BIOS. So I'm noticing more 5.9s there. I don't know whether you saw that. But I'm noticing more 5.9. So it's a 0x12b. How does that look? We did have a little bit of a latency spike there. Should we be fair and run it one more time? I think we should be fair and run it one more time. We ran the first one twice. I think we should be fair. Just in case some kind of shader cache got deleted, replaced, or whatever. Oh, 144. Horrible. Horrible. As soon as you get on a 360 Hz monitor and you set your CPU to running full whack for 360 FPS, it'll be game changing, honestly. It's so smooth. The only reason Ship's not running it is not because he can't, it's because he prefers the frame pacing time of 4.2 milliseconds over 2.8. He's just used to it. He's used to that timing of the frame pacing. He's done like 50,000 wins on that. So he's just used to it. The only reason he's changed down to 240s. But if you can run 360, you should really run 360 in. With your CPU, you should be running 360. So you should be getting a 360 Hz monitor. Oh, nice. Hey, it's Mike. Hey, Mike. So I'm just doing a bit of testing and then I'll be playing afterwards. Updating my BIOS. The latest Intel one, microcode. I am noticing my CPU max is staying at 5,900 more now. It's jittering down to 5,800 occasionally, but I mean, before it was pretty much going straight down to 5.8 gigahertz. If I have a 240 monitor, but my system can run 360, should I go for it? Should I go for it? Why was it? I'd only be running, if you've only got a 240 monitor, I'd only be running 240 FPS. It'd be the smoothest, most consistent for you. Plus, if you play comp, then you're never going to maintain 360 on any CPU on the planet in comp. 240, you'll still get some drops in games in comp, but it won't be anywhere near as severe as 360. If you're doing like 50 people in a tiny, teeny, tiny moving circle in Fortnite, then you're going to be looking at high 100 FPS, 200 probably max on any PC on the planet. So you will probably want to be playing 240 if you're playing comp. But if you're playing casually as a game, just as a general gamer, then 360 is the smoothest, best experience you can have. Right. So is that any cleaner? Yeah, that's better. Let's do that. Go with that one. Right. So delete that. Wait, what just happened? Did I just do the right one? 0x12b. All right. Now we can compare. 129, 129B. So in game, looks like the average is identical. Those lows are a bit better on B, but the low lows aren't quite so good. Let me change the last metric to standard deviation. Okay, so it's a tiny bit smoother though on the B. Let's have a look at the 0.19. So that stuttering's gone down a little bit. Let's have a look at the sensor data. The average 5869, 5884. Actually, kept the frequency up more on the first run, on the first BIOS. Actually, using a tiny bit more power in the new BIOS. Tiny bit more power. It does look like they've loosened things up a bit, but it's an extra 2 degrees hotter. Now, is that because I've been running the computer for longer and it's just warmed up? 60 average versus 62 average. Could be because it's a later test. GPU hasn't got any hotter though. Yeah, I mean the temperature, an extra 2 degrees centigrade, or 1 degree on the max there, but average an extra 2 degrees centigrade for an extra 1 watt of power. I don't think so. That's unlikely. From that, I'd say there's no real difference in gain, but the synthetic benchmarks are all a little better. And the latency was a little better, wasn't it? Look. So the PY prime was a little bit lower than before. I don't know. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this a bit clear. So this is the new BIOS. This is the old BIOS. So the PY prime times, so the lower the better, were better on the new BIOS by a teeny bit. So the latency should be a bit better. The Cinebench scores were a tiny bit better. Y Cruncher was the lowest I've ever seen it. Though I'm sure I did see a 19.9 the other day when we were doing some tests, and I can't remember why we had it on for. I might have had an unstable wishful thinking memory overclock doing it, which wasn't completely stable. What are you asking about replays? Bench endgame is more demanding, yeah. It's basically what stresses the CPU is how many people are in your local vicinity and what they're doing, because it has to make all those calculations. So the more people you get packed into a tighter area, higher the population density, the tougher the replay is going to be. It's going to stress your L2 and your L3 cache a lot more, which is why the X3D does so much better than the AMD's X3D does so much better than the Intel ones. But that's where you get the FPS drops. It's basically calculating what everybody else is doing, not the impact of displaying more things. You could be sitting in a roof, staring at the same space, lots and lots of people around you, and your FPS is going to be going up and down like a yo-yo. Not because what's changing on the screen or what you're having to draw on the screen, the complexity. It's all about what everybody else is doing and your CPU having to calculate their positions and what's in their inventory and what they're doing, etc. That's what stresses the CPU, and that's why you get FPS drops. So yeah, for a replay wise, an FNCS final 3 minutes is going to be the most stressful thing because you're going to have the most people concentrated in the small area. It doesn't really matter whether it's ranked, it doesn't matter whether it's pub, doesn't matter what map it is. It's just about how many people per area. Right. Okay. So I think the conclusion there is it's a little bit better. I'm going to have a look at the I'm going to have a look at Benchmate, and I'm going to have a look at Hover Info. Start up Hover Info 64. I want to see what voltages it's running now when I run a Cinebench. Okay, so it's sitting at 1.4 here. 1.41 is what it's sitting at. Equals 1.404. We've got nothing limiting anywhere. All of these are no's. Temperatures on the desktop are really good. Well, that's my wife. Give me a second. She's in London at the moment, so I better take this. All right, sorry. Yeah, she's in London working today, so I'll make sure she's all right. Yeah, so nothing's no. So let's run a just quick see bench. See what happens to those voltages. Run that. So yeah, I mean, I always like being on the latest BIOS anyway. So I'll definitely be keeping it. Performance doesn't seem worse. That's the important thing. It's as good, if not a teeny bit better. So yeah, I'm keeping it. Let's have a look, see what it did there. Right, so we've got no throttling still. Got up to 82 degrees centigrade there. It dropped to 5.7 gigahertz cores on the P cores. From 5.9 down to 5.7, so that's pretty good. I got a bit of droop down to 1.334. I was seeing on the original BIOSes for this CPU, I was seeing that go down to 1.1 and then crash. So it's keeping the voltages up to healthier levels now under load, but not so high that the temperatures go really high and then you start getting thermal throttling. So it's a balancing act. But that's fine. I mean, 1.4 volts for a daily running 5.9 gigahertz. Better than anything Intel's going to be apparently coming out with the next gen. So for gaming, so I'm happy with that. Happy with that. I don't see any issues whatsoever. Everything's, oh, there was an electrical design point restriction there. That's probably a voltage. It's probably limiting on voltage. Wait, do I have? I do have this. What were the limits? Oh, exit hardware info. Okay. Sorry. Before I do that. I was also going to check. No hardware errors. This was a good thing. Oh yeah, I was going to see how much power it drew in that test, wasn't I? So it drew, so the limit's 320, and in that test it drew 276. And what, so you can see what the 320 limit is there. Wait, didn't I set both of them to 320? Why is it saying it's unlimited for PL2? Pretty sure I set it to 320 for both of them. Didn't I? I need to double check that. Amps wise, yeah, 210 amps. It pulled maximum of 400. So it's limiting it on voltage. What it's doing, saying you will not go over 1.55 volts ever. So, I mean, I might be able to overclock this a little bit now. Not today, but I might be able to look at it a bit more now. We've got these kind of safety nets in place. Yeah. But I mean, if you look in here, yeah, voltage max, it's limiting it, Vmax. And 9.8 was the previous limit, previous record. Where we are now. Oh, that's just slower. Oh, that's a lot slower. 13? 13.4? What? I think I need that one, don't I? Is that just being weird? It should be 9.8. There again. Not dropping. Temperatures are fine. There we go, 9.72. It's weird the first time. So that's a new record there. That's why it's got little stars. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That didn't drop at all under that load. Hey, Paul. So are you talking to, who are you talking to about what power supply? I've got a 1000-watt Corsair Platinum power supply. Will you need to upgrade when the new CPUs come out? I'm not going to go to the new CPUs given the reports at the moment. There's no way I'm going. Basically the same or worse performance. All they're doing is power saving. But why would I spend a lot of money changing to a new CPU? From what I can see, Intel have gone, oh, look at all that money that our customers are spending on power when they run our CPU. I know, we'll take that money ourselves, charge extra for a more efficient CPU, and we'll have the money that would have gone to the power company. That's what they've done. They haven't made it any actually better, really, for the customer, because it's costing them the same amount of money, given they've bumped the prices by $144. So that's basically $144 worth of electricity that they're now saving. And now Intel's pocketed it. That's what's just happened. I'm looking for MSI 590A Pro. Any good? I don't know. It depends what CPU you've got. But I would be going for a 7. Oh, that's for AMD, isn't it? That one. Yeah, I mean, for gaming, if you want a new gaming PC right now, there is only one thing to wait for, and it's that one, the AMD 8900X3D. That will blow everything else out of the water. Nothing Intel has produced right now or on paper can beat a 7800X3D. So when the 9800X3D comes out, that's going to be better than the 7800 one. So Intel, there's no leapfrogging here. Oh, if you're going with if you got an Intel one, then why don't you get a Z790? I don't know. I don't do lots of hardware testing. I'm not a hardware guy. I don't have, people don't send me hardware to test. I benchmark it. I don't have that. So you're better off if you want to know what hardware is best with what hardware. I can tell you what works for me and what's worked for other people on my Discord, but I am not an authority on hardware. I'm not. I don't plan to be. So I need people to actually, Intel to send me kind of pre-releases of stuff and I test it. That would be lovely, but they don't do that. So I'd have to buy it all myself and benchmark it. Yeah, again, that's a question. You want an i9. If you're gaming, you want an i9. If you're going with Intel, you want an i9. i7s are just worse i9s. They're worse binned i9s. i5s are even worse binned i9s. i3s are incredibly bad binned i9s. So basically i9s with a lot of the things broken during the manufacturing process. They're not like designed differently and then oh yeah, this is the design for an i5 or an i7. No. They're badly binned i9s. So for a gaming PC, you want an i9. It might be more expensive, but you want an i9 for a gaming PC. All about the bins. Quality control. Right, I think we're done here, aren't we? I'm happy with that. We've saved it. We've proved that the new BIOS is better than the old BIOS. The new microcode seems better than the old microcode, albeit not much, but maybe it'll give us a bit of leeway for overclocking later on, which I'll look at another time. But for now, I'm going to go and play some Fortnite and just check everything's stable. Run some games, I think. I'm going to shut that down because I'm going to re-plug in the DisplayPort cable so I can actually look at the screen properly. It means you guys can't see the BIOS anymore, but it means I can actually use my display as it should be. So give me a second. Up. We should be good to go. Right, so anyone watching on YouTube, I'm probably going to stop YouTubing now because the technical bit of this is over. We've done all the benchmarking, so I'm going to switch over to Twitch for the game testing part of it now. If you want to keep watching, jump over to my Twitch channel. And